Hello, I'm Steve Shaw, National Coordinator of Football Officials and Secretary Rules Editor for the NCAA, and today we're continuing our series of training videos for 2025, and we're going to be featuring game action from Week 7. Now, a quick update on our number one player safety rule, targeting, and we have to do a great job with all of our player safety rules, but especially targeting, no let up. But so far this year, we're averaging 0.14 targeting fouls per game, and that equates to one targeting foul in every 7 games. So how does that compare to years past? Well, starting back in 2020, we were averaging one targeting foul in every 4 games. Our 4-year trend for targeting has been down, and last year was our lowest number ever. But this year, our year-to-date number is slightly below last year's year-to-date number. So that's great for the student athlete, certainly good for our game, but let's keep up the good work there. One final note, we have a disqualification ejection form on the RefQuest site, and we need to make sure in any game that you have an ejection or disqualification that you or someone in your crew is going and putting the information in that form. It only takes a couple minutes, but it provides corporate memory for the conferences and for the NCAA. It's critical we do that, especially in our new world of end-of-year carryovers, transfer portal, etc. We've got to have this information. So make sure that you're doing that on a weekly basis. So with that, let's get on into our plays.
Our first play this week, we're early in the third quarter. We get a pass to the receiver on a shallow crossing route. The ball is knocked free. It's going to be scooped up by number 7 of the defense, and he's going to run it back to the goal line. He hesitates, crosses the field, and then he goes into the end zone. And we're going to get a flag down from our referee here. But first, let's go back and take a look at the catch fumble. And we see receiver number 3, he gains firm control of the ball. He has a body part down, multiple steps actually. He tucks the ball, turns upfield. He's completed the catch before the ball is knocked out by the defender. So we have a clear catch fumble. Now, during the return, we see number 7, as he approaches the goal line, he turns and looks back, just parallels the goal line, looking back at opponents, and then as he's approached, he's going to duck into the end zone. This is an act that is taunting the opponent, and a good job by the referee to get the flag down. Now, this is clearly a live ball foul as the taunting took place in the field of play. So this play, after enforcement, should result in a 1st and 10 at the 16-yard line, not a touchdown. Now, if the clock was in play and this player was working to take time off the clock, then this action may be allowed if there was no taunting. But early in the third quarter, with no clock issues, this is a foul, a live ball foul. Play 2, we're late in the game. The home team sets up for a big extra point as they just scored to go up by 6. And as we see, we get the full effect light show before the snap, and it continues throughout the kick. Now, since it was the home team kicking, maybe no harm, no foul here. But just remember, Rule 116 lists all those subject to the rules, and that list includes the PA announcer, audio, video, and lighting system operators, and others. And we know in Rule 9 that persons subject to the rules shall not create any noise or distraction that prohibits a team from hearing its signals or obstructs play. And the penalty for that is unsportsmanlike conduct, and the referee may take any action they consider equitable, which includes directing the down be repeated, assessing a 15-yard penalty, awarding a score, suspending or forfeiting the game. Now, we're not looking for issues here, but we need to be alert and use our good football common sense to handle situations like this as they may arise. If this was the visiting team kicking and I felt it was a distraction and they missed the extra point, well, I might consider replaying the down. I trust you to use your good judgment here and make sure we talk with game management when we have situations like this. Play 3, we get a gadget play. The quarterback, he hands to the back, who then is going to pitch it to the slot receiver coming back to the ball, who in turn pitches it back to the quarterback. Now, the quarterback, he gets outside the tackle box, has no receiver open downfield, and he just throws the ball away out of bounds beyond the neutral zone. We know there is an exception to grounding, and it is not a foul if the passer is or has been outside the tackle box and throws the ball so that it crosses or lands beyond the neutral zone or neutral zone extended. But we also remember that this applies only to the player who controls the snap or the resulting backward pass and does not relinquish possession to another player before throwing the forward pass. In this situation, since the quarterback did indeed relinquish possession to another player, this would be a foul for grounding unless there was a receiver in the area. Play 4 is going to be a 2-play vignette highlighting one of our player safety rules, blindside block. Now, our first play, the motion man, he takes the short forward pass from the quarterback. He turns the corner for a short gain, and we get a flag down from our field judge for an illegal blindside block. And as we go back and take a look, we see that the outside receiver, and that's the field judge's initial responsibility, when number 2, he flashes to the middle, the field judge does a great job, stays with him, and we see that number 2 attacks the opponent from the blind side with forcible contact, and this is a foul. Now, we also know that a player receiving a blindside block by rule is defenseless, so if the forcible contact's to the head or neck area, it's an illegal blindside block with targeting. But this hit was below the head and neck area, so no targeting, it's just an illegal blindside block. Now, play 2 illustrates that not all blindside blocks are illegal. We see the runner, he stopped up the middle, he tries to bounce to the outside, but is taken down. But as we go back and take a look, we see that the receiver to the top of the formation, he flashes back to the middle, and he blocks defender number 7 from the blind side. And from the end zone, we're going to see that the blocker, he uses extended hands to initiate the contact. And by our interpretation, we know that if the blocker uses extended hands, if it's a screen type block, or if the blocker is absorbing the contact, it is not a foul for an illegal blindside block. Play 5, we're going to address defenders punching at the football. Now, we see the offense has 2nd and goal. The quarterback, he's going to keep the ball himself. He runs inside the 5 where his progress is stopped and he's being driven back. And we're going to get a flag from our referee. And as we go back and take a look at the action, we see defender number 29, he comes into the pile and he starts punching into the runner, and the referee has a flag for personal foul against number 29. Now, there's a question if 29 is trying to punch the ball out. He may be, but to be legal, it needs to be a bona fide attempt to punch at the ball, not just wild swings into the area. So let's use good judgment when we have this type action. But this is a correct call by our referee, and we support this as a personal foul. Play 6, we're late in the game. The defense has no timeouts remaining, and they need the ball back. Now, the offense has 2nd and 7. They're going to run up the middle for a short gain, bringing up 3rd down. Now, we see number 20 of the defense. He's going to go down injured, and the clock is stopped at 1:27 for the injury timeout. And as we look, we see the player, he presents as injured before the ball is spotted, so he avoids any issue with our new injury timeout rule. But since we are after the 2-minute timeout, and the injury is the only reason we stop the clock, then we're going to create a 10-second runoff, which the offense is going to accept. And we see the clock, it goes from 1:27 to 1:17. The play clock will be set to 40 seconds after the defensive injury, and the clock is going to start on the referee's ready for play signal since the 10-second runoff was accepted. This is well done by the crew. Play 7, the quarterback takes the snap. He's going to make a quick throw to the outside receiver. There's a lot of contact, but we get no flag. Now, as we go back and take a look at the ISO view, we see that the receiver, he releases clean, but as the ball is in the air, the defender grabs and restricts the receiver, preventing his opportunity to make the catch, and we needed a flag down here for defensive pass interference. Now, the offensive team's head coach, he's upset, and the side judge does a good job of walking the head coach back and trying to calm the situation, and then he's going to throw his marker. Now, as we look at the All-22, we see the head coach, he comes all the way out to the middle of the numbers, complaining and protesting, and this is way too much for us to allow. This must be a 15-yard penalty here, and the head coach would be hit with his first UNS counter. Now, regardless of the call across the field, The action by this head coach warrants an unsportsmanlike conduct foul, and we can't let coaches get out on the field, complain like this, and not take action. Our last play this week, I want to make 2 points. We have the second half kickoff here, and the ball is kicked deep. The receiver gives the tee and moves away, and the kick lands deep in the end zone for a touchback. Well, as we go back and take a look, the ball really doesn't land at all, but is caught in the end zone by one of our ball personnel folks. Now, again, no issue on this particular play, but we must do a great job of coaching up our ball personnel in the pregame conferences. Remember, coordination with our ball personnel is a critical component to having a smooth flowing game. Side judge and field judge, let's do a great job of setting expectations for our ball personnel in the pregame conference. That's so important. Now, also on this play, let's go back and look at the kick, and we see that the number 2 man from the bottom, he's very tight to being offside. And as we pause it at the kick, he is clearly breaking the plane by maybe a third of a yard, but he has no foot down, and I support this judgment of no foul on a deep kick. However, if this were an onside kick, we would want the marker down, as our standards say that on onside kicks, we work the restraining line as a plane. We don't get overly technical with it, but this would be across the plane and a foul on an onside kick. Well, that's it for our plays this week, and let's use these to help us get prepared to work a great football game. Now, we want quality fouls, nothing technical, make it be there, and make sure we always display our integrity, courage, and poise. Let's let the tight situations reveal our true character, and let's be prepared for them. Best of luck to all, and keep hustling.